Oh, wait, no longer greatness has arrived. Welcome to episode 291 of The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, this week, we are talking about The Last of Us HBO show trailer has been revealed, Microsoft's call for competition, PlayStation's new indie initiative, and Skull and Bones gets delayed once again. That and so much more. But with all that said, with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson. I don't care how you're doing this week. Honestly, I couldn't care less.
All right, for me then. All right.
Because here's the thing that I only care about, Kyle.
Yeah.
The Last of Us HBO show. Usually we put this in the, we're squaring up the news.
A news story.
Yeah, but I'm too excited.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah.
A minute and 48 seconds of which I have watched on repeat for at least 100 times now.
Uh-huh.
I want to know your thoughts of this trailer.
It is everything I wanted.
Yes, sir.
And it's just a teaser. And I think what it did so extremely well without overly giving us like dialogue options and, longer looks at certain scenes like some like longer trailers would do. Mm-hmm. It set the tone of what The Last of Us is and nailed it.
Yeah.
I think Pedro and Bella look fantastic. I was not expecting for some reason to see Riley in the teaser. And so I'm so excited we're going to get that. Obviously, there are very pivotal scenes that we know from the game that are hinted at in this trailer. Specifically, Joel grabbing Ellie by the face after a very traumatic event. It just looks awesome. It looks like the best video game adaptation ever already. And I cannot wait to watch this with you and then cry our eyes out every single episode, even though we know the story.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to experience it.
And it seems like just from what the little moments we've seen so far, it's like they're fleshing out other characters as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So in even expanding some roles, like Bill's character.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest. At first, I watched it and I'm like, okay, I'm watching it through the eyes of this is a video game adaptation of a thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm nervous already because this is not just that, but something that I love and care for so much. Mm-hmm. And then the first time I was just like, okay, tone seems good. The nerves are calm. Then I watched it a second time. I was like, okay, things look right. Then I watched it a third time. I was like, okay, I'm getting amped, but I know I'm biased because you're right. I think this looks phenomenal. Even I've seen people that have been very nervous as well. Like our good friend Ains of Season Gaming was just like, Last of Us means a tremendous amount to me. Yeah. I'm very skeptical of this show, but this trailer genuinely looks great.
Yep.
And you're right. I think they hit the tone of what The Last of Us is so well, while giving a little homages, or not even homages. When you're looking at certain scenes where they are in the game.
Yeah. Like the amazing shot of, I believe it's downtown Boston, of the buildings.
Yeah.
Like, exactly where they are. Or when they're in the museum and they hear the clicker and they're like, don't say anything. Yeah. Or there's a brief shot of Tess at the Capitol building. Just a very brief shot. You're like, ooh, I know what's about to happen. Yeah. Don't know if I'm ready for it, kind of thing. and again, something they did extremely well is, and I feel like a lot of people like to just throw this out there and say, oh, it's just a zombie thing. It's just another story in a zombie quote unquote apocalypse kind of situation. They kept that so minimal. Like, obviously we know clickers are going to be in it and zombie humans or whatever.
Sure.
Watching that trailer, though, it is so much more about the people in it than these clickers, and then when the clicker does show up for that brief second,
Oh, wow.
someone give the makeup artist an Oscar, Emmy, whatever they get. Just give it to them now, because it looked incredible.
And like what you even said too, like they have like the Left Behind DLC, right? The carousel moment. I was like, oh wow, they're going to
rip our hearts out and then stomp on it.
Mm-hmm. And you just have tremendous talent. Like the actress that plays Tess, she's
Anna Torv.
Yeah, she's an excellent actor.
Please, people, watch Fringe. It's an underrated show. She's amazing in it.
And watch Mindhunter, because she's also excellent there.
Yeah.
You know, you got Pedro, you got Bella Ramsey, they're great. But like there are like oh my god, the woman from the Yellow Jackets is in here as well. Like
Nick Offerman as Bill. Come on.
And he's a tremendous actor.
Come on.
So like you have a great team making this. Yeah. You know, the minds of Chernobyl. The one thing that I want to shout out, I believe MBK on our Twitter was just like, actually I have the tweet right here. You're probably watched the Last of Us trailer about 50 times, just like me. I think seeing Neil Druckmann credited in the trailer is such a big deal because it translates to him being actually an integral part of the show's development.
Yep.
It's true. Like, his name's in the credits. He is a showrunner on this show. And so I feel like you have excellent scriptwriters, an excellent team running this show, and then you have this excellent just set of actors.
Yep.
This first minute and 40 seconds, it could be the Halo show all over again, but damn, I can't help but be very optimistic of where this show just takes The Last of Us. Like, you know, I thought I was being biased, so you know me. I have to show everybody. If I like something, I'm like, please see this. Yeah. So I'm showing all of my family and my friends this, and the one reaction that stuck out to me was my brother's, who is not like a big gamer by any means. He'll just play any Star Wars related video game, a Call of Duty here or there, like that's it. His reaction to the Dallas scene, the intro scene. It's not Dallas, but whatever.
Boston.
No, not Boston. Like the true intro of the game, like with the airplane.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
When he sees that, my brother's like, "Whoa, holy shit, they're doing this!" Like that was his reaction.
Yeah.
And at the end of that trailer, his immediate thought was, "Yo, Joe, you have this game on PS5? We need to learn how to share play because I want this game."
Yeah. So, and that's the thing I tweeted out immediately after I watched it. Like, it's chilling for me. It's chilling for us. It's chilling for everyone that's played the game because those moments that are in that teaser mean so much to us. But this just looks like a great way to introduce what I think is one of the best stories I've experienced in my life to people who do not play games. And for them to love or hate these characters in their own way, because this deserves to be seen by everybody. It's very much in the same vein of us being champions for PlayStation games coming to PC. Everyone can experience it. This is that million times over.
If done right, that is exactly what this can be.
Exactly.
And it goes to, and we'll talk a little bit about this later, of why The Last of Us Part 1 was remade.
Oh,
and it's something
100%.
we've echoed time and time again. So people like my brother never experienced it, but now they want to.
Yep.
That's why these shows like this, the synergy you're going to see between games and their transmedia, neighbors, it's going to be something else if done correctly. Now, Spam and Bayman also writes in, he goes, what do you think makes most video game adaptations into live action miss the mark? And do you think HBO's Last of Us will finally set the gold standard for future adaptations, or hinder them based on devoted fan base, far-reaching expectations? That's a great question. I think one of the biggest things for me is the people that are making them don't understand what makes the game special. So, when I see, I forget the showrunner of the Last of Us show. I think it's like
Craig Mazin.
Craig Mazin. He's a fan of the game. Yeah. He loves this thing. He got to choose anything he wanted after Chernobyl, and he picked this because he loved what Neil did. When you see other directors, let's just say of a Resident Evil, and they're just like, yeah, let's this may be too cheesy, so we're gonna do our own special thing, like with the Resident Evil show, or they're maybe almost embarrassed of the source material. They don't think it's gonna translate well, and they try to reinterpret it or reconfigure it. That's where I think so many of these things misses the mark, and that's what separates a good adaptation versus a bad adaptation.
And as far as I'm concerned, why I think this is only going to do more good than harm when it comes to future video game adaptations is two reasons. One, you mentioned Neil Druckmann is just heavily involved in this, and I don't think that is. But besides the crazy dude who made Postal, what was his name?
Oh God, I have no idea.
You Bowl or something like that. Yeah. Who was a part of the movie adaptations of his games or whatever. Yeah. Besides that, I feel like every adaptation since then hasn't had the creator and game director so heavily involved in the show. And then second is, as far as I'm concerned, PlayStation is already hitting 1,000. Like, I loved Uncharted. I know it's not a perfect thing. It's not a perfect adaptation, but it hit the tone of what the game is.
Yeah.
It felt like a Nathan Drake Uncharted adventure, and it wasn't 1-to-1 and what have you, but PlayStation's doing the right things when it comes to bringing their IPs into passive media when you're just sitting there watching it. So I'm all for them continuing this, and Last of Us looks like it's taking it.
Yeah, and if they're passing these ideas around to creators, like for example, like you got the John Wick director tied to a Ghost of Tsushima film.
Yes.
If they literally just go to a director going, "What do you want?" and they're just picking the thing that they want to make, then I think we're in a really good position. And honestly, even if you didn't like Uncharted, the lessons learned from that film that they can take to the sequel, or just even comparing it to sequels prior, adaptations are getting better and better and better, and companion pieces as well. Like, again, get people that, being passionate for a project is great. I think that matters more if you're like the writer or director of that thing. You have to have a thirst for it, but like you could just say, hey, the world of League of Legends is vast. We can't tackle all these characters. Let's just take a select few and tell a story. And you have amazing works like Arkane. You have Cyberpunk Edgerunners right now, which I'm watching and loving. That's reinvigorating. Again, we'll talk about it a little later. That game. So it's just like you could take things outside the universe and tell stories about them and have people interested and want to experience those things. A la The Witcher as well, another great example. So
I need to watch that show. I haven't watched it yet.
Pretty
good. I've heard.
So I'm over the moon, man. This is just a whole lot of hopium that I feel like I needed this week.
And really quickly, shout out to Kevin Diaz. I saw him almost immediately after the trailer went live. Did a screenshot. It's like, is that Ashley Johnson? Oh. I feel like we get a clip of Ashley Johnson in here who voices Ellie, if you don't know, in the game. There's like an explosion, and I think she's being blown away from the blast. It's very split second. It looks a lot like Ashley Johnson. Okay. So I like how they threw that in there a little bit, and that's like a little Easter egg in the trailer just for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited. Very, very excited.
I'm really excited. This is everything I hope for. Now, hey Kyle, real fast.
Episode 1 Super Bowl? Are we doing that?
What's that?
Is episode 1 dropping after the Super Bowl, do you think?
Oh.
I mean, why not, right?
Sure. I get. Has that ever happened before?
Well, usually after the Super Bowl is when they drop like a new episode of a show. Like The Office had the one where Dwight does the fire drill training. He did that. There was Brooklyn Nine-Nine after the Super Bowl. It's usually just within the network.
Okay.
But Why not just be like, hey, after the Super Bowl, come watch The Last of Us on HBO?
That'd be nuts. I'm against the idea, but I like where your head's at, kid.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Kyle, but all right, real fast. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Work's been boring. I'm excited
Same.
to be here. I had a great time on Saturday.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was a community stream day we did. And everybody, thank you all so much for coming out. There was a huge turnout. So much fun. So many games played. What the Dub was fantastic.
Yeah.
Next time around, we're going to get it right. That was so much fun. Fortnite, Fall Guys, the whole shebang. Thank you all so much for being a part of it. That was spectacular. Thank you. Honestly. That said, Kyle, a little bit of housekeeping before we talk about the rest of the stuff that we have to talk about on this show. Of course, this show is brought to you by the generosity of our patrons over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. I want to thank our producers this month and our newest producers, Sith Lord 92 at the gold tier, Millennial Falcon Gaming at the gold tier, N Johnson at the silver plus tier, Lamb Chop at the silver tier, and Winter Gamer in the bronze tier. I want to thank our platinum members, Todd Burwitz and Toxic. I want to thank our gold members, Too Soon, Gavin Gottfried, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master Ren, Metal Kirby, Stephen Flesh, Stoth, Simon the Pie Man, Chaotic Monkey, Enigma, and Strubles and Bits. I want to thank our Silver Plus members, Awesome Dave, Hide Indoors, Nakachaka, Marcus O'Neill, JB the Purple Monkey, Jados Von Metal, Tim Olf, Justin Rodriguez, Cypher Primus, Captain Logan, Brent Zachary, K Grimm, Rick Arrington, Dewane Raksha, The Good Sir, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, Drellish, Foolish Fuji, Annie Day Now, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin Diaz, Lord Commander Corgi, Elo 2032, Jinx the 38th, Bubble Boy N7, Jesse Garcia, Hambone, The Aztec King, Stone Cold, E.T., Astronaut Jr., not to be confused with Astronaut Senior, The Green Gorilla Gamer, Katie, M9 Prime, Sean McKenzie, N. Johnson, Final Fan, XZ, Enigma, and Androzo, and Vontae Tatted. Thank you all so much for your amazing generosity. It's what keeps the show running, keeps us looking great, and sounding amazing. It's because of your generosity over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room.
If you got your name read twice, you're lucky. It'll be the last time it happens.
Oh, a stickler, I see.
Well, I'm just saying there are a couple duplicates in there.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
it happens.
I'm a little delirious after work. Today's been a day. Kyle, I stubbed my toe real bad. It hurts. It still hurts.
I get it.
I've been mortally wounded.
Oof, I'm sorry.
That said, we have a whole bunch of new Patreon cool tiers we'll talk about maybe later in the show.
Yeah.
And also patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. Check it out. Check a look. All right, Kyle. Now it's finally time to square up the news.
First bit of news that needs to be squared up is from Paul Tassi over at Forbes. Microsoft's "let us have competition" Sony jab feels extremely ironic. Every new development in the Sony versus Microsoft spat over Microsoft's pending acquisition of Activision Blizzard makes me roll my eyes a little harder. That's Paul in his writing. Previously, I've addressed Jim Ryan's increasingly whiny comments about the situation, which sound like sour grapes coming from the far and away clear gaming industry market leader. But Microsoft isn't much better either. This week, it's not Xbox's Phil Spencer punching back, but the CEO of Microsoft itself, Satya Nadella, who in an interview with Bloomberg referenced the fact that Sony has also made big acquisitions in the gaming space. Quote, "So if this is about competition, let us have competition," end quote. I find this specific quote deeply ironic given that the entire debate being had here is that Microsoft's size, making an acquisition of this scale, is the company being anti-competitive in a way that its chief rival, Sony, cannot match. Sony, while a big company with electronics, film, TV, and gaming divisions, has an $89.24 billion market cap. Its recent big gaming purchase Nadella is referencing is its acquisition of Bungie for $3.6 billion, which came with the clear stipulation that none of Bungie's games would become exclusive to PlayStation. Microsoft, in contrast, is a technological megacorporation that's one of the largest on Earth with a $1.8 trillion market cap, 20 times the size of Sony. Its quote-unquote large gaming purchase before this was Bethesda for $7.5 billion, which resulted in a lot of Microsoft exclusive games from that publisher and its developers. But the Activision Blizzard deal is nearly 10 times that at $68.7 billion. I don't know how you can taunt Sony with a straight face by saying, "let us have competition," when you're buying a publisher that costs nearly as much as Sony itself is worth. Again, this is not the whole debate. Microsoft is right that Sony and Nintendo are outperforming them in the gaming industry, despite being smaller companies, so pure size is not everything. We also have outsiders like Amazon failing to meaningfully break into the industry despite several attempts, so it's complicated. But quote unquote, let us have competition. I'm not sure that's the argument you want to make in this case that centers of the concept of the sheer size of this deal leading to anti-competitiveness in the industry. But you do you, Nadella.
This is kind of an inflammatory article I picked.
This is a sassy Paul opinionated article.
But I agree with it 100%.
I also agree with it.
So, okay, real talk. A lot of people are like, I love this quote. This quote's awesome. They're like, hey, let us have competition. We're 4th place. You're in 1st place. And my first gut reaction is, yeah, I like this quote. Because, Kyle, for the first time ever, and now this is where, hey, guys, remember, we're a Sony show. Hi. For any Xbox fans listening, don't worry. You'll get your pat on the back after this rant. You'll earn the cookie, y'all. For the first time, Microsoft has kind of stated what they're about. Like, we've seen a lot of acquisitions, and either outside of games or inside of games, and they always state their intention of what they're going to use this acquisition for. Apple bought Beats, and their plan was to re-innovate or revigorate their headset line, and they did. Right? To get their tech, share their tech, they did. AirPods exist. Hello. Right? Those announcements of, hey, we bought this thing, always comes with a clear plan or roadmap or intent of how they're going to use that thing. Mm-hmm. With Xbox, I feel like we do give, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Xbox CEO. Oh my God, Phil Spencer. Thank you. We give him a lot of the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, our intern. Yeah,
come on.
He tries his best. But we give him a lot of the benefit of the doubt of like, oh, he's so nice and he says it with a smile, and we kind of go, yeah, Phil, you're a great dude. We'll let you pass. But when he says things like, oh, we have no intent of, dividing gamers from their communities or their games, it's like, no, you actually have all the intent. Like when they say that, they go, we actually want to expand it to mobile and cloud. It's like, yeah, but nowhere in there did you say games will remain on PlayStation. In fact, when you talk about Elder Scrolls or Fallout, you're like, we'll get there when we get there.
I mean, there was a PlayStation Starfield version.
Yeah.
There was a version that was very close to almost being done. Absolutely. And now that's never going to see the light of day.
Redfall as well. So It's like, no, your mission is to take games away from PlayStation gamers. Let's just say it. And what's wrong with saying it?
Yeah.
Because if competition is about competition, then Satya, what you're saying is we want to take games away from PlayStation gamers. And listen, that's fine. You're the one buying this thing. I'm not guilting you.
Yeah.
Like any other PlayStation guy would. You're buying this thing for almost $70 billion.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it. Let's not beat around the bush that I feel like they constantly do when they make these big acquisitions. When they go with the excuses like, oh, well, we've never done an acquisition this size. We're happy for these people to inspect us to see if everything matches, right? Like the carpet matches the drapes, that type of shit. And it's like, it's always so vague. Just say what you're going to do. It's simple as that. And so though this quote is for the regulators, it's true. Let us have competition. You're a $1 trillion company.
Yeah.
A $1 trillion company is begging for quote unquote competition.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just crazy. Am I taking crazy pills, Kyle?
Absolutely not. Because what I was going to say is, the fact when I read this, and Sony's market cap is $89 billion, and Activision Blizzard Deal alone is $68.7 billion, almost the full amount of the entire market cap that Sony has.
Yep.
That, to me, is like the Yankees in the 90s and early 2000s. When they just bought every great player as soon as they entered free agency, and they had the biggest payroll of all time. And they were like, well, we're the Yankees. We can do it. It's whatever. Don't be mad at us. We just want to be competitive. We want to keep winning. So whatever. Just like, I this whole thing is dumb.
I'm tired of the pettiness between all the CEOs.
Exactly.
Because
they're being competitive. They bought Bungie for $4 billion. It's one developer. How many developers
to make games for all the platforms?
Exactly. And how many developers are within Activision Blizzard alone? Not just Bethesda.
And how many times we throw Jim Ryan under the bus when they announced this deal with Bungie? What did Jim Ryan say? These games stay multi-platform.
Yeah, because it was important to Bungie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, like, we give a lot of crap to Jim Ryan and his cats, and for sure, but like, you're now seeing Microsoft behind closed doors, rumor has it, via Giant Bomb, they're not done, and their plan isn't to buy developers, it's to buy publishers. And now they're going to try to go after, from rumor has it, Japanese publishers. And it feels like the version of Xbox competing, and I know this is going to sound fanboyish, but it is what it is, I guess, is, hey, we can make a better product than you, so we're just going to buy all the partners around you.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, that's just how it feels. Again, it's $1 trillion company playing around with.
It's like the corporations buying out all the mom and pop shops.
Exactly.
Until there's one left, and then they can't keep up, and then eventually Microsoft is going to just gobble it up, and they'll be the only spot in town.
Like, Microsoft is right about to say, turn off the faucet on gamers in the next 3 to 5 years, of course. But with this Activision deal, turn off the faucet for PlayStation, where Activision's biggest client is PlayStation, with almost a fourth of all revenue generated from Activision comes from PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's kind of them strong arming. And so that's where I come in kind of going, this is such a bummer. Because I fell in love with PlayStation because they crafted experiences I could never get. And now I feel like force is an awful word to use, but PlayStation bought my dollar. They didn't earn it, so to speak. So for me, that's where I feel about this. I just hate the fact that we're cheering on mindless corporations for buying things, because at this very point in time, it's a good deal until it won't be. Because it won't be one day.
Yeah.
Just like with the Yankees, right? The Yankees used to be the shit. I don't know where they are right now in the ALS or AL East.
Or ALS is a very debilitating disease.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Whoops. But,
they're still pretty good.
Yeah. So, to me, it's just like, this irks me, and I don't like the consolidation. Mm-hmm. I do like PlayStation's moves so far, of buying developers, partnering with XDev, finding talent outside of just Japan, North America, and Europe, and that's what we've seen PlayStation do so far. Like, I like all that. This is irking me. Again, I'm not going to sit here and argue. If you're a Microsoft gamer, here you go, guys. Here's the bone. Man, Microsoft coming in for the steal, right? Like, you must be out of your mind, like, thrilled with seeing how Microsoft has been able to provide for you. And that's great. As someone outside that ecosystem, though, I don't feel great. And again, it's not about A team winning and B team losing. It just comes down to, like, we're even seeing ex-Microsoft guys going, yeah, Game Pass is great right now. But is it going to be great 5 years from now? Who knows?
I'm just so scared of.
That's it. And again, I know people are gonna yell at us in the comments, but like, we're even seeing people like from Devolver Digital going, yeah, the one saving grace, because Hollywood's suffering from streaming services right now. It's like your movie's either an MCU movie or it goes straight to streaming. There's no middle ground for like indie ideas to poke through. And Spotify right now, with their algorithm, it's hard for creators to actually get that spotlight and get paid correctly. And I was listening to an awesome interview with the Devolver Digital CEO, one of the founders, not CEO, going, yeah, what's awesome right now is that you have people in Xbox that get it and that are passionate and that love games. But the fear is, and maybe it's an irrational one, is when you get a Jim Ryan in there, how does that change? When you get the bean counter in the room, When you get a Don Matrick, because you will get a Don Matrick again. How will that change? I don't know. Sorry, Kyle, I cut you off.
Yeah, I was just waiting. I'm just very scared of the Wally scenario becoming real life, where everything's just by and large.
Yeah.
And it's just one brand of everything everywhere.
And we're cheering it. It's very strange.
I don't like it.
Again, like,
to be clear, I don't like PlayStation buying all this stuff either.
Yeah.
I like having options.
It's great.
But if it comes down to it, and if they buy Square Enix, let's just say,
sure,
and that is the only way I'm going to be able to play Final Fantasy on PlayStation, I'm going to be happy because PlayStation is my preferred platform.
Yeah,
it's like a double-edged sword type of situation. It hurts me in the long run, but it is a necessary evil, I guess, in this money greedy grubbing thing that's going on right now.
Yeah. And and again, it goes both ways as well. Like, PlayStation does it but in much smaller aptitudes, like of that of like Final Fantasy Remake, right?
Yeah.
But I would argue, when you think of Final Fantasy, where are you thinking it? PlayStation.
Yeah.
So again, there are instances where, like, yeah, PlayStation will buy like a quest for the next Harry Potter game. You're like, that's stupid. It's dumb and I hate it. So like, think about it like through my perspective of like, I just hate when there's content cut from games. Now whole games are being cut. Why?
Yeah.
You'll guess it. But here's the thing, Kyle.
Can't wait for Marvel to buy Batman. That'd be wild, right?
That'd be wild. That'd be crazy. That'd be awful. But here's the thing, Kyle. Let's just say this new reality is the thing, right? We know the Activision deal is happening. Again, good for you, Xbox guys. Great.
Yeah.
Microsoft is fighting for you guys. Awesome. And let's just say they go out there and they buy, I don't know, a Sega. How does PlayStation react when they see that their major competition is just buying publishers and things that were once a safe bet of like, hey, you're our partner, you're not going anywhere, now aren't? Mm-hmm. What does PlayStation do?
I would really hope that it's not a knee-jerk reaction and then they're like, all right, we have to buy something now. I would hope not, but I can very easily see that being the case where, like, if you're not making moves, you're standing still kind of thing.
Yeah. So
like, they obviously are going to have to retaliate in some way, but in what way?
And what
I don't know.
Way?
And it sucks just thinking about it, because obviously after the news of Ubisoft getting Tencent, right?
Yeah.
Invested more into them, they're not getting bought out. All eyes are on the Japanese publishers. That is like, that's like the dollar store of acquisitions right now.
Oh no.
not in terms of quality. It's just like, that's where everyone's going to find a deal.
Yeah.
And if Xbox buys Sega, then what is PlayStation going to do? Look at Capcom, look at Bandai Namco, Square Enix. Like,
yeah,
those are the three ginormous ones. And that
Koei
is
Tecmo?
Koei Tecmo. That's a slippery, dangerous slope to go down, because I don't know what's going to happen then.
It is concerning. I think for me, the one strength that PlayStation has over all of it is XDev. And I think XDev has proven their way in IP that are beloved, whether it's a Neo out of Koei and Team Ninja, whether it is like a Bloodborne, like these, or, I mean, look at Housemarque, look at Bluepoint, right? There are developers that come out of those XDev deals, PlayStation first party studios. So I'd much rather see XDev expand, saying, hey, we're going to work with creative talent out of places that you don't necessarily see, and we see a rising surgence of, like in South Africa or India, and tell interesting stories that haven't been told yet. That's where I'd like to see PlayStation maneuver. I don't think that they necessarily have to answer with, well, we're buying a Final Fantasy. But I do think that that is a knee jerk of like, okay, so things are getting hairy for RPGs, so we have to pick up something.
It's an eye for an eye kind of thing.
It's not even that. It's just securing partnerships. Sure. And I feel like the only person, or the only true people that are going to get hurt by this deal are probably people like Nintendo. or not people, but companies like Nintendo that
Mm-hmm.
deal a lot with your with your Segas and your Square Enixes. And so to me, that's where I'd like to see PlayStation focus. Again, focus on XDev. But I do think there's going to be a way where Sony is going to, at least in the small term, invest. Like we saw them acquire a stake of From Software, going, okay, now that we have this partnership, it's going to be way harder for someone to gobble you up.
Mm-hmm.
In the short term, I think that's a solution. For the long term, it's how do we secure the IP that we know we now need, like your Final Fantasies. And I think those come in with heavy investments, or it comes in with acquisitions.
Sure. Yeah.
And that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That being said, though, Kyle, that was a whole lot of doom and gloom. That we're Sony ponies now. Worst people I've ever met. It's time, though, to get a little hopeful.
Oh.
A little optimistic for not just the future of games, but I think what you would agree, the most important part of games, and that's indie developers. So take it away, Kyle.
Right. James the Bachelor over at GamesIndustry.biz writes, Shuhei Yoshida on PlayStation's ongoing mission to transform how it works with indies. It's been just over 2 years since Sony launched its PlayStation Indies initiative to better highlight independent developers making games for its consoles. And coming up on 3 years since long-serving exec Shuhei Yoshida took the reins of this project. Yoshida emphasized that the initiative was already in its planning stages when he joined the group, born out of a desire to make PlayStation the best place to develop, find, and play great indie games. Quote, in the early PS4 days, PlayStation was known to be promoting lots of indie developers and indie games, Yoshida explained. During 2018 and 2019, the company was focusing a little bit more on the AAA side, and Sony Interactive Entertainment president and CEO Jim Ryan wanted to change that, end quote. In mid-2019, Ryan asked Michael Pattison, then vice president of the global third-party relations team, to come up with a way to, quote, reinvigorate efforts to help indie publishers and developers, end quote, with Yoshida brought on board to help with those efforts. Around the same time, Sony also recruited former Double Fine exec Greg Rice, adding his indie publishing experience to the team, thanks in part to a written recommendation from Yoshida. In January 2020, Yoshida then presented the group's plan to Sony management, detailing what his team thought the platform holder needed to do to better support indies, and what resources it would need to do so. A key priority, at least in Yoshida's mind, was finding more ways to promote the indie games coming to PlayStation. Quote, there's so many indie games being created and published, so one thing I thought we should be doing as a company is to look at all the games incoming to PlayStation, curate the best ones, and showcase that to the consumers so that they know what games they should be looking at, like a recommendation. Kind of the top cream of indie games on PlayStation, end quote, he said. But at the same time, there are hundreds of games published every year, so we have to improve the systems and support that we are providing to these hundreds or thousands of developers, because we cannot have a person communicating and helping each one of them. There are so many, so we have to improve the system, tools, and support for them to really make it easier, end quote.
Kyle. And you see that, right? Like the loan program that they have for the developer kits. You're seeing that in terms of like them going to indie developers going, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? Where can we improve?
There's those days on Twitter where like, hey, in the next hour, every 15 minutes, we're going to showcase a new indie. Yeah. Where like, I'd rather have like a more indie focused state of play, but it's at least a great start. And Joe and I butt heads on this all the time, but the PlayStation Indies category on the store is a really great collection of the indies, is what Shuhei was talking about. It, and I think most people don't know that is there for them, so they need to do a little bit better job of communicating that. But yeah. I love that this is such an important issue that they're trying to fix, because being at PAX East, talking to developers for years now, covering the show, that's all we hear is that PlayStation's really hard to work with on the indie side. Something changed around that time that they were talking about, 2018, 2019. And it's been really hard to get their eyes on their games and then get the tools needed and getting feedback or hearing back from people at PlayStation. So the steps are in the right direction, and it's only going to benefit PlayStation.
Sure. I think the one cool thing, like they're doing little nifty things, like, hey, the way that we're going to send out codes to developers, because one thing y'all don't know on the PR side, marketing side, and game creator side is PlayStation codes genuinely come out last because for some reason they are just so difficult to generate or to get requests to generate more keys for creators. And that's going to get a whole lot easier. So it does seem like PlayStation really is taking the criticisms that they've gotten or insight that they've gotten from their partners and are doing a better job at it. And it's awesome to see, or actually implementing those changes. And I think they see the success out of really Nintendo, where like indies really carry that machine so well and go, yeah, why can't we have and share that same success over on PlayStation? Like, we talk a whole lot about how the PlayStation 4, the beginning of that generation, was carried by indies. Well, why can't they always carry them?
Yeah.
And so I think what we're going to see in the near future is, again, this is where actual competition, like not just buying out partners, comes in, where they're looking at where their competition does things better and they're improving on it. And I really love what I've been seeing from PlayStation as of late, as we're covering this, and them taking more insightful steps to fix their processes. Makes me genuinely optimistic.
I mean, just think of the last few months of PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like, what are the big things that came to PlayStation other than Last of Us? Stray.
Yep.
Roller Drone.
Yep.
Inscription.
Yep.
Tunic, which came out yesterday as of recording.
That's right.
All Toem on PS Plus.
Cult of the Lamb, which is like
Cult of the Lamb. Right there, that's 6 among many others that I haven't played.
Yeah.
But like, when I think of my gaming on PlayStation the last few months, it's being spent playing a lot of really good indie games.
Yeah. And I think, when we talk about spotlighting indies, it's what kind of Shuhei also like said when it comes to like, we believe in a premium, day one, game, and supporting games at their tail end, where we talked about it a little bit last week, but I'll expand here, and them openly admitting, but we're experimenting. Like seeing Stray come out day and date for PlayStation Plus extra members and up, that's something. Seeing Roller Drone and having its 1 hour and 38-minute demo that people can try out and see if they like it, like those ways,
and a small discount if you pre-ordered it. I think as a PS Plus member.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I really do. They're not just talking about changes; you are seeing them and seeing them be more experimental, and I think that's really exciting.
Absolutely.
All right, Kyle. Now it's time to talk about
the thing that won't die.
The thing that won't die. No matter how many times we shoot it, it won't die.
Mac Ashworth over at PS Lifestyle writes, E3 2023 dates confirmed. Event returns under new management. Following the cancellation of this year's event, E3's future was uncertain. Shows like Summer Game Fest has popped up in its place, meaning E3 didn't hold the monopoly on video game reveals that it once did. Despite that, next year's show is confirmed. Here are the E3 2023 dates to add to your calendars. E3 2023 will take place through June 13th through 16th. June 13th through 15th will be quote-unquote business days and focus on industry pros, while June 15th and 16th will be gamer days and be open to the general public. Business days will welcome developers, publishers, distributors, and the gaming media to conduct their work. Pros will no doubt be very happy to hear this, as dodging the public can add additional strain to an already stressful working environment. Gamer days will be enhanced by quote-unquote spectacular booths and a dedicated theater offering deep dive looks at highly anticipated titles. While the 4 days of E3 will officially begin on June 13th, partner digital events and showcases will precede the show starting on June 11th. It had already been announced that ReedPop, best known as the company behind PAX and Comic-Con, would be taking over. Back in July, it announced that next year's E3 would be a week of titanic AAA reveals and earth-shaking world premieres.
Honestly, if there's anybody that can bring back E3 that's not Jeff Keighley, it's probably ReedPop. Now that's
you'd say that. I don't know if you're keeping up with it. I know very briefly. They just opened up the queues for panels and whatnot for New York Comic Con, which is happening next week. If you're at New York Comic Con, I'll be there on Friday. Come hang out with me. There's a whole mix-up with the online reservation thing.
Oh, really?
They had to shut it down. They're still. I don't think it's still fixed.
Oh boy.
So there's still an issue.
Sure, but they do run.
It's better. It's better than whatever had E3 to begin with.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, Clear Wings writes in, "Hey, Joe and Kyle. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing fantastic, except for this bum toe." Their question relates with E3. With the state of video game announcements and award ceremonies being what they are, do you feel like E3 can justify its existence, or do you feel like this is the one last hurrah? Thank you to you both. Kyle, what do you feel about the state of video game announcements? The state of plays, the Nintendo Directs, whatever the hell Xbox does, you know?
Is it weird that I missed the days when it was just E3 time?
So,
because honestly, I love every once in a while getting a state of play or a Nintendo Direct. It's fun, it's exciting. But I do miss those days where I could just take off the 3 days of work and just consume all the trailers and the shows and the showcases, whatever, and be satiated until I play the games that I saw. Now it's just the constant worry of am I going to miss the next showcase because I'm working, or when is it happening? There's so much up in the air. I think with it being at E3, I knew that I was going to get a PlayStation showcase at E3 on this date. I don't have to worry about if there is one, if there isn't one. I knew I'd be good for an hour, 15 minutes of really cool stuff to see.
There is a beauty of not having PlayStation quote unquote insiders going, the next PlayStation showcase is this date.
Exactly.
It's just you knew it was happening. And I think, for many of us, we're not there in person, but it's more communal. Your friends are gathering around, whether it's a Discord phone call or phone call. Jesus, I'm 48 years old. Whether it's a Discord call or, in your living room.
I mean, going to the theater for a PlayStation experience for E3 I would go to New York City for a couple of years and be in an actual movie theater watching the showcase live with PlayStation fans. That was incredible.
It's a special experience where now it is a bit more sterile. It is on to the next thing, and on to the next thing, and on to the next thing. And trust me, the last state of play was fantastic. But there is
I always love it when we get it, but it's just, I miss the old days a little bit.
Exactly. It's the knowing that this is the date. This is the time. Yeah. This week right here is where I could take off. You don't get that. Now it's just how do I fake sick for 3 days from now?
Exactly. How can I leave work early so I can catch it live so I don't get anything spoiled on Twitter for me?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so M9 Prime writes, in regards to E3 coming back, do you think it's too little too late? It was already in the decline in the past, and as a regular viewer, I prefer the state of plays and showcases. I know for the industry, it's good to get together in one place, but as a consumer who's always watching from home, it was always a bit of a mess. The fact that almost everyone was working from home for a bit, I'm sure has changed the way the industry does business. Besides, Sony wasn't even at the last few E3 events. I doubt they will be returning. It's true. Yeah. I mean,
I don't think they're returning either. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so the one thing is this is a bold proclamation, but who's coming back? Who's actually coming back? Who's actually showing up? Is it Nintendo? Is it Xbox? Is it Ubisoft? Who's actually coming back to showcase stuff?
Yeah, probably Xbox and a lot of third party.
Or a whole lot of indies.
Yeah, and Nintendo will always have a presence, I feel like. But
yeah, I mean, maybe, but do they see their directs as being enough? And even that, you're seeing developers going, man, it's so much better not having to rush out a vertical slice of a game that we still are in development of 2 years out, that type of stuff. Is it too little too late? No, M9. I actually think E3 can come back. I think a lot of us, the whole working from home situation was great in the start and still great for so many folks, but there is a genuine, I miss being at a convention. I miss being at a convention. Mm-hmm. I miss, being at New York Comic Con, right? But, you know, I think for E3, they do have to justify their existence with actual strong partners. So I think this proclamation would have been a bit bolder and we already have Xbox, Nintendo, Ubisoft, Square Enix.
Yeah, a rundown of who's going to be there kind of thing.
So without that rundown, I generally don't know.
I will say though, I do like how they have dedicated business days.
Sure.
And gamer days for
gamer days.
Because that is the thing of when E3 before the pandemic, where that's all we heard from industry people, where like it was really hard for them to cover their games because the public was getting in, and it was a mess, right? So I do like having a dedicated 2 days just for the public to get in and see the cool things, but like to have the, just for a dedicated theater offering the deep dive looks. If I'm going there as a public person and not as gaming media or whatever, I'm not sitting in a theater to look at a deep dive. I can do that at home. True. I'm going to stand in line to play the games.
Also, if I'm thinking back to when it comes to the live events, like, look, Cyberpunk is what it is, or was what it was at launch. But like, man, to see Keanu on stage going, you're breathtaking. Yeah. Those moments are missed, those fun memories, and the crowds. Because
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, the only time, like, after a state of play, the only people, like, that you have to gauge are the Twitter sphere. How did y'all like it?
Or go watch your favorite people live react, which is what I do immediately. After we do ours, I will watch Easy Allies, Kind of Funny.
Sure.
Anybody that pops up, I'll watch it. Like, that's why I say, like, I know, not you. That's why, like, that the greatest showcase of all time, the PlayStation 2016 one, I feel like, was so cool because it had the audience, and then it had that cool 4-camera setup, so you saw the developer playing the game, like Corey playing God of War live, and you could see him doing the sticks and the live orchestra. It was an event.
Yeah.
Like, I felt bad because I wasn't there in that room.
True.
They need to capture that magic of, like, you have to be here kind of thing.
And I think there's also, like, a power to, like, to those events with, like, the Apple events, right? Like, Steve Jobs gets up there with his turtleneck sweater and his blue jeans, and everybody's clapping about a phone with a screen on it. Like, those moments are special. And I think that is missed with State of Play. So as much as, like, State of Plays and PlayStation Showcase are more convenient, especially for us, I would say that I don't think this is the last chance for E3. As long as they have a strong partnership, they can rebuild them. They have the technology.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Kyle, it's time for the next story on the list. Take it away.
Cameron Coach over at GameSpot writes, Cyberpunk 2077 crosses 20 million copies sold as it rides Edgerunners wave. Cyberpunk 2077 has crossed 20 million units sold. Developer CD Projekt Red has announced, thanking players for their support in a tweet. The new sales figure, up from 18 million copies sold as of the end of April 2022, comes amidst a major Cyberpunk 2077 resurgence in the wake of the game's latest Edgerunners update, itself a tie-in with the recently released Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime on Netflix. Cyberpunk 2077's player numbers, at least on Steam, have skyrocketed following the release of the Edgerunners anime and update. According to Steam charts, the number of Cyberpunk 2077 players has increased more than 200% in recent weeks, going from an average of around 10,000 players a month ago to over close to 40,000 in the last 30 days. It's currently one of the most played games on Steam, with more than 86,000 concurrent players at the time of writing, the 7th most played game on the platform.
Holy crap. What we talked about earlier, how, taking your IP from one platform and putting it on another, and if that is a success for you, or if that show is a success, that piece of media is a success, how that just trickles into your other bits of media.
I can't wait to see The Last of Us sales after the show.
That's exactly what I was thinking, and this is exactly what the GMAC 99 wrote in with. They're right. Hi, gentlemen. Hello.
Hello.
The Last of Us trailer reveals that HBO has the next. Oh, come on. We're doing so good. Enough. Let him die,
We're
guys.
doing perfect now.
No, fuck. The next banger of a show. I'm so ready to be hurt and hate Abby all over again. Do you think the show will give the remake game a Cyberpunk 2077 level player boost? And will people be cool with buying it now that it is $70? We hope you're both having a great week, and I thank you for making mine better with your platinum tier content. Cheers, boys. Greg, aka the GMAC99.
Also real quick, something I didn't mention earlier when we talked about the Last of Us trailer.
Mm-hmm.
The pictures of like Bella with her Last of Us Day gear.
Oh my god.
She was wearing a hat that said Last of Us Season 1. Just saying.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Listen, if
we get part 2 in a show, oh my god.
Can't wait to see that reaction.
Oh boy.
Kyle.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my brother seeing it for seeing that trailer and go,
yo,
where's that game?
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is why the remake exists. You could trash and dog it all you want, but no doubt, if this show is then it's gonna be number one selling on the UK charts that we'll all pretend that we care so much about. And by the time that the show comes out, maybe, hopefully, shoe willing, it's on PC and we get to see the concurrent player list.
Yeah.
And I do think that if the show is a success, you will see a big boost to The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2. And what I'll say right here, right now, is if it's not, it's going to be like a Halo. Where we never talked about, oh my God, the concurrent players for Halo. Off the charts because of that show. Nope. Nope. So Kyle, what do you think?
Oh yeah, no, I think Last of Us is definitely going to get a boost. I think it's cool that Cyberpunk is getting a boost as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I mean, that update trailer, I think we said when we talked about it on the show, gave me that itch to jump back in.
Yeah.
And restart it. I do eventually want to experience that story because I think the whole idea is super cool.
Yeah.
And I want to play it. So if that can do it for Cyberpunk, then that is going to do it for Last of Us or somebody else.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to the Cyberpunk, kind of, it feels like almost like a relaunch, not just a resurgence, where I'm seeing people like our good friend of me, Luke Orr of the show. He's addicted to it now. He's like, man, I tried to play this game at launch. It was a broken mess. Now I'm able to play it and it works fine. Yeah. This is now a fantastic game and a fantastic experience. And again, seeing Edgerunners' success, and now I bet Cyberpunk wanted to be at 20 million months ago, or really, at launch.
Yeah.
But seeing where they are now, I feel like there's a hope for a sequel, because I saw a lot of people going, yeah, after this DLC, this is probably going to be it for Cyberpunk. And that's sad. And now seeing Edgerunners just breathe new life into this game, the possibilities are very much that it could get a sequel for sure. So congratulations, CD Projekt, for the 20 million units crossed. And it seems like it'll be enjoying a really long lifespan. It just goes to show, if you got something, if you got something that can transcend, it's special. It's going to be special. So. All right, Kyle, let's talk about the next story on the list, good sir.
Jenny Zhang over at GameSpot writes, PlayStation's new loyalty program rolls out October 5th for North America. PlayStation Stars is a new loyalty program that anybody with a PlayStation account can join, and it launches quite soon. Does not require a PlayStation Plus membership and will first debut in Asia on September 29th, North and South America on October 5th, and Europe and Australia on October 13th. PlayStation Stars works by rewarding players who complete campaigns and activities like a monthly check-in campaign, essentially just playing any game or earning specific trophies. For example, one of the PlayStation Stars' first campaigns is called Play/1994, a feature that asks players to launch the correct game when an audio cue is played. Rewards include loyalty points and digital collectibles that are notably not NFTs. They make it very clear. That's me. Loyalty points can be exchanged for PSN wallet funds or select PlayStation Store products. Digital collectibles are figurines from franchises, items from Sony's history, and more, which can be displayed in the PlayStation app. They can't be sold, traded, and do not use any blockchain technology. This is me again. Clearly not NFTs. Don't worry, everybody. There are 4 status levels in PlayStation Stars, determined by the number of non-common trophies you obtain and the number of full game purchases in the PlayStation Store. The higher the status level, the more rewards and benefits you get. As for those who do have PlayStation Plus memberships, subscription payments do count towards loyalty points.
Okay, so real talk, I went to the PlayStation.blog site, where they're like, it's beginning to roll out. Holy crap!
Yeah,
and they specifically say they are not one of a kind, nor does it leverage blockchain technology. But I'd be goddamned if that wasn't the idea.
Oh, and then they got back. They saw other people get backlash. They're like, we can't touch this. No, we got to change. We got to switch gears.
Exactly. Remove the blocks and all the chains. Let's just put this. It's like, listen, we made these things. Might as well use them some way as an incentive somehow. But I genuinely don't see these digital collectibles lasting very long. But this is cool because, I mean, I shop on digital all the time, and now being rewarded for it with via points where I can spend on like gift cards or whatever have you. That's what I'm most interested in. Yeah, every time I was at GameStop when I bought physical, I didn't care about, Kyle, like, that trip to Jamaica I could win. Remember that?
Sure.
They fly you out.
I remember. There? Yeah, 500 points, you get a raffle ticket.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Here's a Call of Duty Jeep with a skull.
I remember those. Yeah.
And then they film you awkwardly getting it. Like, whoa, this is pretty. You really win if you're at GameStop.
I specifically remember one where you could win a trip to, I think, Montreal for like the Thief launch.
Oh man!
To like go to the studios when the new Thief came out. I was like, whoa, that'd be kind of cool.
So to me, I would always just go for like, just give me the certificate. Just give me the
100%.
Yeah, I don't need a.
Somebody did. By the way, non sequitur. Yeah. GameStop. I went on my account to order the God of War controller. Which thank you everyone who sent the links our way, just letting us know. And I noticed I used to have like 20,000 points.
Oh yeah.
Somebody used my points for an Xbox digital currency. Definitely not me. So I don't know. I gotta call GameStop. Like, hey, who took my points?
Yeah, we did. We really need them now.
When he was on the board briefly, is that? I don't know. I don't like that. About this PlayStation Stars thing.
Yeah.
So there's always like a little bit of rottenness to it, or a little bit of bad taste left in my mouth. So they're talking about like the status levels, right? The higher your level is, the more perks and benefits you can get. Here's a paragraph about how long will I get to stay at my status level. So like, how does the leveling up work? Once you reach a status level, you will stay there for the remainder of the calendar year, plus an additional 13 months. For example, if you earn status level 2 in October, your level 2 status would remain valid through that calendar year and continue for the next 13 months, from January 1st of the next year through January 31st of the following year. So you are not going to level up very quickly. Yeah. It's going to be like 2 years almost until you have to level up again and get more benefits. That's a little.
I can't wait till like there's people that are level 7 and gatekeeping level 2s. You know,
it's straight up the Hunger Games District 7.
I forgot my mortgage. I just bought so much PlayStation stuff. It's like whatever. Like if you,
look at my PlayStation app. Look at all these digital collectibles I got. Look, I got the Buster Sword next to the Blades of Chaos.
Exactly.
And there's an ape in a cage. They're right next to it.
Actual ape, by the way. Yeah. I just put a little alert thing on his head.
And he's not bored. It is an actual ape that's ready to go.
I don't feed it.
God, imagine if it was a Tamagotchi. I'd be all in.
Oh, all in. But yeah, no, that seems ridiculous. Again, I'm just in it for my certificates. That said, Kyle, listen, it's time for some flash news. Gotta run. Gotta go fast. This is flash news. Oh God. Hey, Kyle, have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Oh yeah, I definitely did.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. This comes from the BBC. This comes from Digital Trends. BBC and London police Twitter account has confirmed the arrest took place in Oxfordshire earlier on Saturday. The official statement only says that this 17-year-old individual was arrested on suspicion of hacking as part of an investigation supported by the NCA, UK's National Cyber Crime Unit. Holy shit, that sounds cool. Do a law order, but just on that. But the journalist Matthew Keys reports that this person who leaked the Grand Theft Auto 6 after they hacked Rockstar Games and possibly hacked Uber as well. So a 17-year-old kid hacked Rockstar and Uber.
And that's the part, like, I'm happy he got caught.
Sure.
Because he needs to learn the consequences.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that this was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And this is the type of culture and clout chasing. This is like legit what happens because of what social media does to young kids.
Mm.
I want to be cool, so let me hack GTA 6 and show it off to the world or whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't feel bad. When people are like, I feel bad, he's a kid. It's like, nah, throw the book at him. He broke a law.
Yeah,
you know.
No, I'm with you. Listen, you mess up, you got to learn from your consequences and deal with them.
You're going to learn today.
It just sucks that he's, 17-year-old. His whole life's ahead of him. And he
not anymore.
He ruined it for GTA 6?
Yeah.
Not a great decision there, champ.
Nope. I'm picturing it. His father just like walking in the room like, man, you really blew this one, champ. No, I don't feel bad. You listen, I don't care. You're 17, 18, 19, 20. Like, who cares how long your life was supposed to be? You knew exactly what the stakes were going to be.
Absolutely.
And you still decided to break the law. I could understand, like, if this was like a 9-year-old who accidentally pressed like Control Alt Delete, but like, come on, you knew exactly. And you're right.
Like the kid who bought $10,000 of apps on his dad's Apple iPhone account.
Perfect analogy. Like, yeah, that's a kid that does not understand because they're literally like 7. This kid knew exactly what he was doing. At this stage, you know, and yeah, throw the book at him. I really don't care because they made hundreds of developers' lives hell. For what? Not even know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Maybe you should start hitting kids again. I don't know, but here we
go.
Whoa! Skull and Bones. Listen, I'm just saying, my dad took out the belt. Problem was solved. I just lived in constant fear. And yeah, whatever. Skull and Bones delayed for the 5th time.
Like I left you out to dry on that one?
Yeah, I was like, well, this is a part I could edit out or I could double down.
No, it's got to stay in now.
Maybe we should even just let teachers back. Like, just the paddle again. You remember the paddle?
I know.
Oh my
God! What
God!
schools did you go to?
Like back in like the 50s or 60s. Like,
oh yeah, I thought you meant
teachers had a paddle.
In your school, yeah, and rulers. They would.
And if you act up, you give them a whack.
Oh my God! I thought for a second you went to a school where paddles are still used.
I would send my kid there,
and they would send you to the corner, put a dunce cap on.
Yeah, but instead of dunce, it says being a dumb idiot. Saying there's no. I'm like Principal Strickland, in Back to the Future.
Oh man,
you're slacker. You'll always be a slacker to like a group of 7-year-old like 3rd graders or whatever.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I'm really great that I decided to double down. All right, Skull and Bones delayed for a 5th time. This comes from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. Hey, congratulations on getting engaged.
Hey, congrats.
You see how that transition went. In a press release today, Ubisoft has given a new release date, March 9th, allowing Skull and Bones to sneak in just ahead of its end of their financial year. The publisher explained that in the release that while the game is in development and is fully finished at this stage. The extra 4 months will be used to further polish and balance the experience, following technical tests and insider program feedback from our prior closed betas. All right, so Dewana Raksha writes in, might be too late, but just broke. Ubisoft has pushed Skull and Bones again, this time to March 2023, in pursuit of a pirate game as a service. Have they, excuse the pun, no, you knew exactly what you're doing, missed the boat? I'll say this. Can I say this?
Please do, because I just had a wild 40 seconds here off camera with my mic muted.
Oh, boy.
Video users, I'll explain what happened in a second.
All right. I like what our friend Sean Capri, who will be the eventual loser of our Fantasy Critic League, said. Along the lines of, like, can we stop giving crap to games that are like, can we stop with the titles of delayed again, womp, womp, womp? Like, how many times we give Halo crap for its unfinished state or, the development kind of hell that it's currently in, when we put out, like, these type of releases or these type of statements of, like, here's a game being delayed for the 5th time. It's like, well, some games need it. So just kind of give them space to do what they can for that game, for that experience, and make sure it is the best thing that they can. Instead of demonizing them or making those, pirate puns, just give them the time they need. How many times are we going to have that Miyamoto quote until we actually mean it? Okay, what was your thing?
My foot went into one of the cricket traps and I couldn't get it off.
Oh my God. First of all, Jiminy this year knows its place.
I heard him maybe 30 minutes ago. I don't know if he got picked up on the mic, but at this point, like, not to contradict what you just said.
Sure.
It's pretty ridiculous how many delays this has had. Like, development began in 2013.
Sure.
Announced it was coming out in 2018, and then every year since, it got delayed to the following year. We're going to be at a decade of this game being in development by the time it comes out.
I mean, it's true, and I saw some folks go out there saying, "How can this game actually be profitable at this point?"
That's a very good point.
It's a very good point. It's probably why it's being pushed near the end of its financial year just to get it out at this point. And they have so many grants via, I believe, the government of Singapore has given them to make this game, and that's why it has to come out. So I don't know if they're losing money, but I'm still optimistic. I love the pirate era. I was in my slut era last week. Now I'm in my pirate era. You know what I mean? Yark. Twitter's an odd place. So, like, oh, boy. I love it. So I want to see this game succeed.
Sure.
So I'm rooting for the best here. All right, Kyle. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
EA. Oh, no. Okay. EA and Koei Tecmo premiere Wild Hearts trailer. This comes from Andy Robinson over at VGC. They write, the game's debut trailer was published on Wednesday alongside the first details and confirmed release date for February 17th, 2023 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Kyle, real talk, right off the bat, next gen only. Goodbye, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. This is it. Awesome. Wild Hearts is set in the fantasy feudal Japan where players battle against nature-infused beasts called Kemoto with the help of the Kunari, sophisticated mechanisms crafted from lost ancient technology. In the game, players journey through the land of Azuma either as a lone wolf or pack hunt with up to 2 friends in co-op with crossplay supported across all platforms. Quote, Wild Hearts opens up a vibrant fantasy world where players as untamed as it is beautiful, said Yokushi Hirashi, executive vice president of Koei Tecmo Games. With Wild Hearts, not only did we want to showcase the evolution, infusion, and real threat caused by the kimono, but we also wanted to create a game where crafting was one of the core experience, redefining what can be possible in a beast hunting game. And EA VP Stuart Lang added, EA Originals is a label for those who dare to explore. It's home for studio partners like Omega Force, forging new ways to play from bold creative visions, and for players who love to discover untold stories and unseen worlds. That was my voice added. We're excited to follow the wonderful, critically acclaimed It Takes Two from Hazelight Studios with ingenious mechanisms, giant nature-infused beasts, and epic battles of wild hearts. The first AAA hunting experience for a new generation. Oh man, that's a whole lot of PR speak. I think I should have deleted a paragraph or two. All right, real talk. Koei Tecmo, EA, partnering on a game. And I got to be honest, a lot of people like, this looks like Suikoden. Or no, not Suikoden, sorry.
No.
What's
Monster Hunter?
Monster Hunter, and there's another one. I always confuse it with Suikoden. Whatever. It looks like...
I don't know. Suikoden's like an old school RPG.
I know.
Dynasty Warriors?
No, not Dynasty Warriors.
That's the team that does it.
Whatever. People will yell at me in the comments. It looks like a Monster Hunter-esque experience. And so it's with a silent T. But I really dig what Koei Tecmo usually does, so I'm pretty down for this game. Everything looked great. I want to know what you thought on this.
So full disclosure, I have not watched the trailer.
Mm-hmm. How dare you?
I heard it was a Monster Hunter thing, and that's just not my jam.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So you didn't even need to...
No.
No, honestly, I was surprised how much I loved Monster Hunter Worlds.
Sure, yeah.
So I am open to the idea of like getting a group together and seeing all the little mechanisms that you can make, like traps that you can like bring these mythical animals into. Like there's one that it's just like a giant hammer and just clubs them over the head. Found it was hilarious, cool. But like I was in it. Like there was one that like launched you in the air, then you're like you're on like a little helicopter and you do like an aerial attack with it, and you could chain combos. Cool. Like that type of stuff has me intrigued. So I want to give this game a shot, but another February game. Let's relax.
Yeah, please.
Pick another month, for the love of God.
Please.
All right, last bit of
It's a short month as it is. Don't put everything in it.
Honestly, we don't. This one comes from Nibel. All right, have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah. ...
It appears someone has leaked the Returnal PC options menu. Guys, Returnal is coming to PC.
Surprise!
Another leak. This seems like the third or fourth time.
Yeah,
just
like didn't we hear the code of like the DLC was like found in Steam or something?
Yes.
So like, it's coming. Probably, I would say.
When is it getting announced?
Oh God!
When is it finally getting announced so we can say it for realsies this time?
Let's just go with the joke. It's coming out in February.
God damn it!
No. I can see it coming to PC a year after Returnal. Oh wait, no, 2 years now, right? Returnal wasn't last year, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was our game of the year last year.
Oh my God,
2021.
Time is crazy right now.
Isn't it an enigma? Yeah.
So yeah, I can see it coming around the same time the first one came out, but next year.
All right, Kyle. Are you holding on to something?
Always.
Prepare the drop. Here are the latest steals and deals coming to the PlayStation storefront. From the PlayStation Essentials for the month of October. Here are your monthly games. Hot Wheels Unleashed for PlayStation 5 and PS4. Injustice 2 on PS4. I feel like Injustice 2 already, I feel like that's a repeat one. I can't help but think it.
It's not because I don't own it, and I'm excited about it.
All right. And Superhot on PS4.
Super hot.
The Green Gorilla Gamer writes, I'll just ask if you guys are excited for October's PlayStation Plus games. Hot Wheels Unleashed has me excited, and I'm glad that I waited on buying that. Injustice 2, I think, is slept on too much. Superhot, I hear, is phenomenal, but I wonder if I'll ever give... if it'll ever give the VR version or the non-VR version or both. Great question. I'll check in with you next week about that, Green Gorilla.
I feel like the VR version is just an update to the base game. I feel
only one way to find out.
I think
that's it, Green Gorilla. Congratulations on getting engaged and then announcing it on a community stream. That was pretty rad.
I was very honored that you held us in such a high regard to tell us.
Isn't that nice?
That's amazing. I'm so excited for you too.
Yeah. And we are invited to the wedding, so that is now.
Except you made a ton of demands on Saturday. I don't want to be sat too close to the front of the room or the back of the room. I don't
want the spotlight to be on me. I don't want to be part of the groomsmaid.
What an ego!
But I do
walking in thinking people are going to be there for bad bit.
I mean, we're a pretty big deal in the UK. That has to translate over to Canada somehow.
All right.
And I wanted, what is it? Steak, filet mignon, or else whatever. Me to be seated with the most attractive family member / friend of either groomsmaid or wife to be, whatever.
Groomsmaid. You combine the two.
Whatever. You know what I mean.
I know.
You gotta put me in the hot table. That's what I demand. And
listen, I'll sit wherever. It's fine.
All right. Fair enough. Sit, Kyle, with all the old people eating their broth.
Sure. I'll have a great time. I think this is a great month.
Yeah.
This is a really good month. Superhot's fantastic. I've wanted to buy and play Injustice 2 forever. I know it's been on super cheap discount many times. And Hot Wheels, give me a good racing game that I've heard people really enjoy.
It is. It's really good. I like it a whole lot.
Except that I do think it has don't like unlocking cars. Isn't that like a loot box kind of random thing?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah.
I just want the DeLorean. All right. That's
so cool.
Great month. Can't wait to see more of what the middle of the month has to offer for the extra and hopefully premium members.
Yeah. Hey, PlayStation Classics. Do you remember that they were promised?
Remember that?
Hey, what's happening?
A whole lot of nothing. All right, Kyle. Now these are the games that we can look forward to this week. September 26th, Century Age of Ashes on PS5 and PS4. On September 27th, Hoko Life on PS4. Moon Scars on PS5 and PS4. Hear good things. Also on Game Pass. Hey.
Moon Scars is a Joe game.
Oh, yeah.
It is a Joe-ass Bloodborne Souls-like 2D, beautifully animated Metroidvania type of game. It's awesome.
You had me at Bloodborne. Trails from Zero on PS4. Tunic on PS5, PS4. Here are our thoughts on it next week. Watcher Chronicles on PS5 and PS4. World of Outlaws. Dirt Racing on PS5 and PS4. On September 8th, Deathverse Let It Die comes out on PS5 and PS4.
The Battle Royale for the Let It Die game from, not Suda. Mm-hmm. It's
Grasshopper.
Is it Suda? Grasshopper Interactive. Thank you.
Cool beans. Have at it, you weirdos. All right. September 29th, Apico on PS5, PS4. Brewmaster. This is all PS5, PS4 at this point. Brewmaster. Despots game. Let's build a zoo.
Hey, Matt Damon DLC confirmed.
if he's not an unlockable character, I'm not buying it. And if he is, I am buying that game. Pathfinder. Wrath of the Righteous on PS4. Post Void. I believe never mind. I was gonna say, isn't it that other game? And I just confused two games again. Sam & Max Beyond Space and Time Remastered on PS4. Sam & Max Save the World Remastered on PS4. Undungeon comes out on PS4. Valkyrie Elysium, which I'm hearing great things. That sucks because that's on Sean's Fantasy Critic. And Work From Home comes out on PS5, PS4.
What is Work From Home?
Probably a simulator. And on September 30th, Arrowheart, Blade Assault, Bunny Park, FIFA 23, Lemon Cake, Jesus, My Little Pony, Maritime Bay Adventure, and Paw Patrol Grand Prix.
Lemon Cake is not as weird as you think it is. It's just it's like a bakery sim.
Okay, it's not one of those cheap platinums that are ruining the store?
No, it is not.
Right. Cool. I thought you'd fight me on that. I'm glad you didn't. Kyle, it's time for our favorite portion of the show. It is time for the Sony Pony Express.
Yeah.
That's right. Stingray X writes, "Hey guys, it was fun hanging out with both of you on Community Day. What's the origin of your PSN name? Take care."
Ooh, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. So, Mr. Badbit, that's my persona. and it really derives from my love of all things J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot productions. And so Bad Bit is like, what's a bit? It's a little bit in a game. So there you go.
Yeah.
Also, on Xbox Live, it's Senior Bad Bit because Mr. was taken, but I now you can make duplicate names, so I have to change it back to Mr. Bad Bit.
Did you change your PlayStation name to Mr. Bad Bit?
No.
So it's still what, Blackout something?
Oh no! Sorry, my PSN name is Mr. Bad Bit.
Oh, okay. Wasn't it used to be like Blackout something, right?
Yeah, something dumb. And it also used to be another name that I forget. I had, I'm such an idiot. I had 2 PSNs, one that has my original like Last of Us. So like this one, you won't see most of my PS3 games, unfortunately, because it just comes down to me forgetting my password to that one account. And same with Xbox. My Xbox, I remember when I got the Xbox One, I forgot my login. And it was a Hotmail. Yeah. How old was it? It was a Hotmail account.
And ask Jeeves.
Exactly.
I had a similar thing. All my PS3 games you're not going to see because that was on my OG PSN name, which was Lucky Charms 7137. Yeah. Which a name I got because a girl I had a crush on in middle school liked my Notre Dame hat. And she called me her Lucky Charm. So that's why I named that name. Mr. K-Step is, I think, pretty self-explanatory. I was a teacher, and I felt it was better than Who Dat Ninja, which is a throwaway joke from 30 Rock. So, and I was tired of people thinking I was from New Orleans and a Saints fan. So, Mr. K-Step it is.
Or a ninja.
I love it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Although Lord Cognito always still refuses to acknowledge Mr. K-Step.
Fair.
I was like, who dat ninja? Whenever I see him.
The Muffin Mon writes in. Hi, Joe and Kyle. Just wondering, hello, what is with Square Enix and the seemingly lack of substantial marketing for the most recent titles, the Diofield Chronicle and Valkyrie Elysium, both of them releasing back-to-back, but apart from social media tweets, barely any coverage, almost no content creators or reviews for Diofield. It's a shame because I 100% of that game on Xbox, and it is amazing. Do they simply not believe in the titles? Yes.
I feel like they just have too many titles at once.
Too many titles at once?
And they're slipping through the cracks a little bit.
Some of them they don't have enough faith in, so they're getting them out the door. And I'm going to be real, through a creator's lens, their PR sucks. That's it. Sorry, but like that's literally the hard truth. It's they don't mess with anybody if they're not.
If it's not Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, it's.
I mean, it's not getting any love, but like,
yeah,
if you're a creator out there, you know the struggle. The criteria in which to even get someone at Square Enix to talk to you is brutal and disheartening. Like that's literally just how I feel. Yeah. And I bet all of them are nice people. In fact, I've met a few and they're nice people. But their PR it's just bad. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's how I ruin relationships. All right. Kyle, this the next one comes from Katie. Just a message. Hey guys, just a message this week saying I think I speak for everyone when I say Saturday was a great time. We appreciate you sticking it out despite being pretty exhausted. I was delirious. The games were fun. It was hilarious. It was a hilarious time. And yes, we do have dark minds, as Jackbox proved. We really do. A lot of us are going to hell.
I'm not sorry, everybody.
Yeah. Jesus. You kind of should be, I think. You guys truly created something special with this podcast and community. Can't wait to do it again soon. Yeah.
Thank you, Katie.
We're going to do it soon.
Yeah.
Very soon, I think. Because that was a blast. We should do that monthly, I feel. All right. Enigma writes in. And also, just thank you guys for showing up. Because I really... Yeah. Honestly, you get so nervous. You're like, is anybody going to show up?
After being postponed twice, it was great for people to show up.
Yeah, honest to goodness. This time when I announce it, the date, I mean it.
Yeah.
So, maybe I have a Halloween spooky stream. I don't know.
Ooh.
And we got to wear goofy little hats. Enigma writes.
A bad boy. Goofy little hat.
That's right, goofy little hat. It's like a little hot dog. I put it on my head. It's like... half hot dog, half man. You don't know.
I'm gonna get that little headband that looks like an arrow goes through my head.
Oh,
That's
it's like, oh my God, throwing shot call. No, it's just a goofy little hat. Enigma writes, no question, just wanted to say that the community stream was a blast. I had a lot of fun hanging out with everybody. Looking forward to this year's award show and how it turns out. Thank you all for the hard work. Again, patreon.com/PS Trophy Room.
Which is going to get an overhaul soon.
Oh, which is going to get a massive overhaul. New shows like Getting Fit with Bad Bit, People Play Games, our first episode with Sean Capri. I felt like it was only appropriate. We talked to people in the industry, outside the industry, and just gamers playing games. I want to know how the industry works, and I want to bring on smart people to describe it to me, their day-to-day, what it's like to be in PR, what's it like to be a QA tester, what's it like to be a developer in general. There's so many question marks I would like to get answers to in respectful ways, and that's why that exists. So, all that and more over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. And all the funding now goes straight into that award show that we're making, where it is going to be one of, if not the biggest indie podcast events ever. That's the goal. I'm really excited for. So that said, M9 Prime writes, how do you decide which games you will go back to and finish if you stopped playing them midway through? Also, how likely are you to go back to these games? Is there any game you meant to go back to but never did? And how does it feel? And now it feels too late and the game will forever be in your back burner. Great question.
I'm afraid to say mine.
I don't know. There's just some games where I don't feel it. And I just drop it. I never have those regrets. I'm like, I really ought to go back. It's just like, I feel like I should go. I'd like to go back, but it's never like that. Like, I don't know, it's never hanging on me that I haven't beaten this thing.
Sure.
Or I'm not getting into said game. Like, for example, Cyberpunk, I put down. I'm thinking I'm going to go back, but not right now. Probably in the holiday season, like the Christmas season. That's what I'll go back. What about you?
I am so bummed and mad at myself that I haven't gone back to Horizon this year. And like, it makes me, I'm like mad every time I think about it. And I don't know why. It's just a mental block of me wanting to go back, but I do feel like it's a little too late. And I don't know if I'm going to finish it in time for the award show. I'm going to try, but things are just going to ramp up, like with God of War and Gotham Knights and a bunch of other games that I'm really, really looking forward to. So I don't know. I hope so.
Don't feel guilty about it. You know, Horizon's a great example. A game I dropped because Zelda came out, and then I went back to Horizon after E3, and that was my game of the year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't feel bummed because I feel like we get too in our own heads about FOMO, the fear of missing out, and all that jazz. Like, you don't have to be part of the conversations. You don't have to buy a game just to say you bought a game and post it on social media. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So to me, like, I don't care too much about FOMO for the most part. You know, there are times where I'm like, oh, I wish I could do this or wish I could get that. But to me, when it comes to like games I'm just not into it. And then it doesn't bother me much.
That's the thing that makes me so mad about Horizon. I am into it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that the struggle.
I mean, you're just a fake fan. That's fine. Una writes in, hi guys.
I can't keep letting him get away with this. I can't. It's coming. One day it's coming, Joe. I'll get you back.
Hope you're both doing well this week. Before I get to my question, I just want to shout out the new releases this week. Trails from Zero, please, if this series looks appealing to you guys, go out and buy it. This series means a lot to me. Now for the question of the week. Have you ever gone back to the first game in a series? And it made you appreciate the second one even more, where it would have been what is this?
Quality of life feature.
Quality of life feature or the story. Okay, there you go.
By the way, Una, I think I fell asleep before I agreed to your bet over the Giants-Cowboys game. She was like, if the Cowboys win, I have to play a Trails game. I don't think I agree to it.
Oh,
Just speaking about time not having it. I've heard nothing but great things about the Trails games. One of probably the best RPG series in the past decade or so. So I will look into it. Eventually, I do want to play them. But as far as like going back to the first game, makes me appreciate the second one. There is not a clearer answer to me than this one.
What?
It's Infamous 1. Going back to Infamous 1 makes me love and appreciate 2 so much more. Just from the city layout, the environments, the movement around the city, everything is just better.
I think about The Last of Us Part 1 to Part 2. I playing The Last of Us Part 1 remake, I was like, man, this is really great. But how much I love the movement and the combat of 2 so much more. There are just things like simple things like the prone position. Like that means so much in Part 2 that it's really those things that I appreciate from 2. So for me, I even go back to like maybe Gears 2 or to Gears 3, like seeing those iterations. I can appreciate like Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, even Halo 4 or 5, to see how different those games play to each other, though they're in the same, field or whatever. Or sorry, they're the same, series. Those games still have those subtle changes that impact so much. So yeah, that's kind of what I think when I think of sequels making me appreciate, or originals going back to making me appreciate the sequels.
Sure. Yeah.
Spointer writes in. They wanted me to say it like that, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Spointer here. I know. Are there any games you found too difficult to continue /finish? Mine's Cuphead, but more recently has been Deathloop, but I'm determined to see that one through. Keep up the good work. Love as always. What up?
Yeah. I understand where you're from with Deathloop.
Cuphead, man. Jesus.
Cuphead's
brutal.
That might be my answer too. I don't know if I'll ever go back and finish that game.
Too hard, but man, do I appreciate it that this thing exists.
Yeah. It was Bloodborne.
That's right.
I conquered that mountain. That's why I can hold over you. I have 100% in Bloodborne. You don't.
I mean, that's fine.
Just saying, fake fan over here.
I mean, how's Horizon Forbidden West? Oh wait, no, you didn't.
Listen, Bloodborne is your game of the generation, and you have it 100% in it.
I'm just waiting for that 60 FPS. I'm waiting for that remake.
You're going to be dead and 6 feet on the ground when that comes out.
And I will be revived. I will be risen. I'm like, all right, I'm back. I heard there was a remake, y'all. But yeah, mine's probably Cuphead as well.
Cuphead's a great one, yeah.
Kyle, that's it. That's all the questions that we got this week.
Ooh-wee.
I know Green Gorilla is just like, yo, let's talk about Wolverine and Deadpool 3. But like that would date the show. But you know what? We're an hour and 30 minutes into the show. Y'all, that reveal was great.
That was fantastic.
I wonder how long they knew. Like was it always in a plan? Because I know they're close friends. Like, was that always the plan?
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to think so.
Honestly, it's been a great week for geekdom. It's been really great. Andor's great.
I
She-Hulk continues to deliver.
Oh, I gotta watch the new episode this week. I mean, obviously we knew it already happened, but I got reminded of it in a tweet of like, why is everyone freaking out? Wolverine has already met Deadpool, and they had a still of them in the elevator from X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I hope there's a lot of jokes on that expense.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
there is.
And somebody went through and is like reading their lips when they talk about like what's going on in this Deadpool 3.
It's just it's they're meeting for quote unquote the first time that it's like the people actually care about this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're like,
yeah.
X-Men Wolverine was right, or Origins, whatever. Wolverine, such a cash grab.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You just it didn't have that spirit where like Deadpool is
The
like
merc with the mouth. You know what we should do about the merc with the mouth? Let's sew his mouth shut. All right, cool. Great idea. Make him look like Baraka from Mortal Kombat. Yeah, sure. Great idea.
And again, like now it feels great because you first off, they're in the MCU.
Yeah.
And we love the MCU here. Pro MCU stance.
Yes.
In fact, I just love a good comic book anything.
Yeah.
You have Deadpool in there. We love him. He's great. He's hilarious.
I swear, Joe.
Yeah.
If Hulk doesn't throw Wolverine and do a fastball special, I'm going to be very upset.
Fair.
It has to happen.
Do you think
it has to happen?
Do you think there's going to be like, do you think this is just Deadpool and Wolverine?
Oh, no.
No. You think we're going to see some MCU people in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would even say Patrick Stewart's back.
No. I would even say, dude, if they're going to make Thanos jokes for sure.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Man, what the world we live in. And just think about the synergy between that and the Wolverine game that's supposed to come out in 2024.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of a montage of like Deadpool being like, oh, you wonder where I've been? And then they do scenes throughout the MCU and then they pan out and he's just on the side, just watching. Like in these pivotal moments that we've seen. Mm-hmm. I think that would be fantastic. That'd be really funny.
Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, man. Listen, this week in Nerdum, not just PlayStation, fantastic.
Pretty great.
That said, Kyle, listen, that's been the show.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. But before we do, Kyle, is there anything you'd like to spotlight before we head on out of here?
I like to spotlight myself, Mr. K-Step on Twitter and everywhere. Follow all the indie game coverage that we do at 61indie.com. That's SIXONEINDIE, 61 IndieCast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We record that live on Thursday nights on twitch.tv/61indie. And we just announced October 22nd and 23rd is going to be our Extra Life stream, 24 hours streaming video games for the kids. So come hang out and watch us play games until we're delirious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can find me over at Mr. Badbit on Twitter. You can find the show over at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. You can help support the Trophy Room Awards and all the great things that we're doing over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So, with all that said and with all that out of the way, everybody, keep it what's about you. Keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation. See you guys.
I love you very much.